Good evening, table hockey fans, and welcome to Canada Rocks Showdown in Sweden. In this part, the revival, we're going to look at the 5380's rebirth and renaissance. This was due mostly to the work of Martin Labelle, an inspired player, creative competitor, and champion from Sherbrooke, Quebec. Martin watched the table hockey movie about 100 times, and this scene really stood out in his mind.
Sweden is for table hockey what Canada is for ice hockey. The leading country, always winning the golden medals. And we did this year too.
Ladies and gentlemen, the individual champions.
How is Canada for table hockey?
Want me to be honest or polite?
Honest, please.
Honest, please. It sucks. They're really like, you know what, perhaps, well, not even Italy is for ice hockey. It's what Canada is for table hockey.
Forget United States, forget Canada. Forget it. Sucks.
Still sucks, boys.
Martin took that scene personally. And here's another scene he watched 100 times and took even more personally.
And what we need to do is to bring a new game onto the scene, and that will allow North American and European and Asian players alike to be the best they can be at this sport.
And that's exactly what Martin did. He brought a new game onto the scene, single-handedly reviving the Carleco 5380, only with new materials. The Labelle-Coleco captured all the features that had made the 5380 such a great game, only now with more precision, more accuracy, more speed, more durability, and more possibility for creative table hockey. Between 2004 and 2006, Martin custom-built 56 Labelle-Colecos. Here I am, the proud owner of number 47. We met for the first time in Sherbrooke in August of 2006. Martin's work was continued by Canadian champion Carlo Bossio in Montreal and his brother Gino. They continued to build Carleco 5380s. They also hooked up with Bert Brassard and Denis Bégin and collectively formed Hockey sur Table Quebec, the premier tournament circuit for Carleco. Here's Martin's son Kevin playing one of his dad's Labelle-Colecos. Is he having fun? You bet. And here's my son training with me at Martin's place in Sherbrooke. The Carleco revival is on. Fathers, sons, brothers, and families playing Canada's great sport once again. Thanks to that seed sold by Martin, the game spread from Sherbrooke to Montreal, and then with the Bossios it went to Quebec City, and then to Gatineau and Drummondville, on to Toronto, going west to hit Winnipeg, and then Edmonton, and not long after, Vancouver. The revival hit New York, and then Boston, on to the original 6 cities, Detroit and Chicago. Then it went to the West Coast, Los Angeles and Las Vegas, stimulating tournaments all over North America. Meet John Power, founder and president of the New York City Table Hockey Association, whose classic division proudly plays Labelles and Carlecos. Meet Jim Razanka from Chicago, whose U.S. Open proudly plays on Labelles and Carlecos. Meet AJ Sarma from L.A., whose Las Vegas Carleco Classic features the finest restored 5380s in the world. But the toughest competition's in Quebec, and Hockey sur Table Quebec features the best tournaments. Here are the top 3 guys, Labelle, Bossio, and Cote. They dominated in 2009. Pat Le Phénomène Cote won the Quebec Cup in 2007. Carlo Bossio is the Quebec Cup champ 2008 and 9. These guys have won tournaments in Toronto, Chicago, New York, and all over Quebec. Wherever they play, the hardware flows in their direction. Well, almost all. Old-timers like me can still prevail in New York City and Las Vegas once in a while. But remember the challenge from 2004?
Any Swede who wants to come and challenge me on Carleco is welcome to. I would happily play any Swede for any stake, any wager on a Carleco game. And then we can argue later about who's the greatest at what surface.
Suddenly, in 2009, an email from Hans Osterman. Dear Lou, we have never communicated before, although our roles in the film history of table hockey are significant. The other day I watched Thor's movie again, and I am convinced that all Stiga players would love to get smashed on a Coleco. After the movie, you are quite famous in the Stiga table hockey community around the world. Someday, preferably soon, I hope to see you. Take care, Hans Osterman. Dear Hans, thanks for getting in touch. I will be in Stockholm in late May, and perhaps I could bring you guys a state-of-the-art Carleco board to practice on. If you want to get smashed into many pieces, come to any of the Hockey sur Table Quebec events. After the movie, you became quite famous in Canada and Coleco circles too. I am sure you would smash me on Stiga, but I would be thrilled to play you and your friends on a Coleco board. All the best, Lou. So Carlo and Gino Bossio came through big time, built a beautiful state-of-the-art Carleco with the Swedish and American and Canadian emblems on it. All the top 10 players and others signed from Quebec. That board had so much mojo it could have flown to Sweden without the jet fuel. I delivered it to Hans's house in a big yellow taxi. That's a Canadian song. Took it to his front door. We unwrapped it like a couple of kids opening a Christmas present, talked over old times, and got into some fine points.
Do you have Canadian champs in this one, or are there only...
We have the strongest league in Canada is Hockey sur Table Quebec. Our Canadian champions are the Bossio. That's Carlo Bossio, 2 years in a row. There you go. How do you do?
Hi, I'm Valerie Russell. How do you do?
Now we talk to the pucks.
You're being
How do you do?
videotaped.
How do you do, Johanna? We're moving up. So let me tell you, pleased to meet you too. Let me talk to you about pucks, okay?
Oh, yeah.
We got a few possibilities.
Unlike Stiga here, that you can never be alone with the puck.
You cannot, and you know the North American style. We should have taken the nets out. We should have taken. You pop the net out there. Thanks. That's good. You know, in ice hockey, one of the big differences between European and North American style is body checking, and for us, it's always been, well known that the Europeans love to make precision passing plays, and they are less dependent on physical game.
It's really... I did play Benet one time.
Benet?
Yeah, one time this summer at Pontus.
Who has a Benet game over here?
Pontus Eriksson.
He does?
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
And he was really enthusiastic to come here tonight, but he
can't?
He didn't have it.
I've heard his name.
Kenny's
mentioned it.
It's like 300 kilometers away.
Well, I came all the way from New York.
You did?
I mean, it's a big deal.
I said that too, actually.
You said that? Okay. So have you ever touched a Coleco table before? Is this
No.
the very first?
First
This is
time.
the first time.
The first time.
The first time.
I've only
Okay.
seen it on, the 5 minutes in the film.
Sure. They said that you guys learn really fast. That's what they said.
Yeah,
okay?
I think we do, because...
Hello, Mr. Hanna.
Oh, hello. Are you Lars?
Yes,
I remember you from the film, Lars. You're very famous in Canada.
Oh, this is...
In a good way?
In a very good way, Lars. Your words are unforgettable in Canada.
Forget United States, forget Canada. Forget it. Sucks.
Still sucks,
Stay tuned for part 3, the showdown. We've talked all the talk. Now it's time to walk the walk. The Swedish footage and photos were shot by my dear friends and colleagues, J. Michael Russell and Valerie Russell. J. Michael's dad was a cameraman for Alfred Hitchcock. Here he is on the set of Psycho. Is this an omen for the Swedes? Will this be a horror show as Michael sets up his camera? Stay tuned for part 3 and find out. Meanwhile, take it from me,